what's on the playlist.
Yo, 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 what's up, you guys? Welcome back to What's on the Playlist. Happy 2026.
Oh, yeah.
This is season 4 and episode 80. My name is Chris Romero,
My name is Tony Pacheco.
And what's up, y'all? It's Victoria.
and we are kicking off this new season with a conversation that a lot of business owners and vendors are going to relate to. So you're going to want to listen to this one, I think, all the way through. It's a new year, and a lot of times people look at the new year as like, you know, a time for a fresh new start, hope, going into the new year for something new. And today's episode is perfect for those that are looking for fresh new beginnings, as we are going to be talking about rebranding today, which is not just changing a logo, not just switching up your colors on Instagram, but what happens when your business maybe no longer feels like you, right? And you decide to do something about it. So today we are super excited to have great friend, and I think this is your second time on the show, right? Taylor Fail, welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you all might know her from Lace Bow Bridal, formerly, but she has recently just rebranded her company into Verdeux Co. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. Why the rebrand happened, the fears that maybe come with that, and what stayed the same, what has to go, and what it's actually like to step into a new brand after building something successful, after a few years. So if you're a vendor, a creative, or a business owner who's ever looked at your brand and thought, maybe this doesn't quite fit anymore, I think this episode is going to be for you. So Taylor, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks.
Yeah, so maybe let's start with that, the new year, 2026.
Yeah.
How do the holidays go for you? How are we looking
They were
going into the new
good.
year?
Yeah, they were good. I fully unplugged, which is really rare. Anyone who knows me knows I work. I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
But I like the hustle, so I kind of live and breathe off that. But decided to unplug, and now coming back to New Year, I have a lot of momentum to build, especially with the rebrand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you stay up till midnight?
Yes, actually
Nice.
past midnight.
Heck yeah. That's good.
This is the first year in a while I actually did too. It wasn't, I don't know if it was on purpose, but I think that night, was that when Stranger Things came
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
It did.
that day.
It did.
So my wife was watching that.
At midnight?
No, but it just like I was up, right?
Yeah,
So like the clock, like everything was,
Got
just,
you.
and before I knew it, it was just midnight. I was watching basketball
Do
and
you
stuff.
fake it
Yeah.
with your little one? Does he stay up
You
till
know
like
what?
10 and
No, yeah, like so
put
Evan.
on a
wa-
YouTube?
I think we put him to bed at like he got to stay up a little bit later, which was like 9 for
Yeah.
him, right?
It's funny.
And we did like like a little countdown, 10, 9, 8, and then Happy New Year, and then okay, get your butt to bed.
Time for bed.
We
Hilarious.
decided
That's
to
funny.
watch the ball drop in multiple different places. We
Oh.
tried that.
Oh, that's
No.
Didn't
cool.
just see it because some of them were streaming on YouTube and other places.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's
we
fun.
watched one
Different
from like
angles.
Dubai and one from
Oh.
somewhere in Europe, and so me and my parents and my husband did that. It was kind of cool.
That's,
that's
no, that's
cool.
super
That's
cool.
a
I
different
love
way.
that.
I like that.
Did you
Yeah.
guys see that one? I think it was in Dubai. Dubai. Isn't it called like the Burj Khalifa or something
don't know
like
what that is.
or Burj Tower or something like
So, yeah.
the largest tower in the world?
Yeah.
Did you see that that
Yeah.
fireworks show?
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on
They
it.
had projection mapping on this thing, and
It was
it's the tallest building in the world.
That's
Dang.
insane.
Yeah.
And
Kind of projector.
dude, it was projection mapped, and then crazy fireworks for like a half hour.
They had synchronized swimming and all kinds of things.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Musicians floating in the water. It was a lot.
Dubai's
Dang.
always doing some crazy stuff.
They really are.
Always.
Yeah.
They're always like way above and
I
beyond.
saw like a mock-up of like the F1 raceway on like a
Oh, that's
200-story building. It's still fake right now, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
doing that type stuff. all
Yeah.
the time.
No, they definitely.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I just happened to be up at midnight. And,
Nice.
But I was like, I think reading in bed or something. Everybody else was asleep. So
That's good, Victoria. What'd you do?
So we got back from New York. So we went to New York for Christmas, and
It's
we
gotta
got.
be awesome.
It was awesome. It was so cold. Like I was good for the most part. The last day we were there, it snowed on us once, but the last day we were there, the wind was so like cold.
It,
It
just
was
pierces you,
oh,
cuts
it-
through.
Yeah, it was like
The
cutting
bone.
through. It was just horrible. Then Angelique gets sick out there. This girl always gets sick on every trip we take. So we
Isn't
took
that the worst.
we took a trip to LA a couple years ago. She got strep throat.
Oh, poor thing.
Gets sick in New York, and on New Year's Eve, I have to take her to urgent care because she's like, I can't breathe. She's
Yeah.
coughing. She's like
did she
going
have the
through it.
flu?
She has pneumonia.
Oh no.
Oh, my
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my
That
god,
girl
this
needs to be downing some vitamin C.
no, she does,
Yeah.
and always like she's always getting sick. So we're in the urgent care at like 10:45 ish, and we're like, are we gonna spend our New Year's Eve in this urgent care right now? Like, right when so, but luckily they were so nice in there. They got us out. You know, we got to the house a little bit before 12, and she just laid down. I was like, hey, Happy New Year, it's 12. And
There you go.
you know, that was
Okay.
it. And she fell asleep. But this girl's always getting sick, which is stressing me out because we're going to LA in a week
Yeah.
and she's already sick. And I'm
Well,
just
this is
like,
good,
oh,
though. She got it
geez.
out of the way.
I hope so.
Building those
I hope so.
immunities, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I have a private event out there, and then I'm doing an event at a club too. And I'm just like worried about the club event because we're gonna be around a bunch of new people
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And it was so packed in New York. I knew it. I was like, one of us is gonna get sick because you're bumping into each other. You're like,
Well, and it's just that
It's
time of
just-
year.
yeah.
I was out too.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve until it was probably a few days after New Year's. Same thing, but I had the flu. I think I had the flu. I didn't go into the doctor, but I was out.
yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
thought she had. But then it was just like this nasty cough.
Yeah.
And I was
Lungs
like,
kinda-
and you can hear it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this girl's, I don't know
Ah.
what's going on. But yeah,
Well,
pneumonia.
Hopefully she's getting better. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's doing
recovering.
it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay,
Nice.
how about you?
I
Yeah.
did Decadence it's a music festival. Super fun. This guy, DJ, his name is Grizz.
Oh
One
yeah.
of our favorites.
Yeah.
Love him. And we saw that name drop, and Cinder and I were like, we have to go. Like, this is we're not doing too much this year because of our wedding in November. So we're like,
it's
Ooh.
it's wedding year.
Ah.
it's wedding year. It's
Yes.
exciting. It's really cool. We're trucking right along. Save the Dates just came in. Shout out you for telling me to get them in early. You're like, you get them in during the holiday season for the discount, and we did. We saved
Yeah.
so much money that way.
Nice.
So yeah, if you are a bride or groom, hot tip. If you are looking to save the dates, look for holidays and get them
Any
in.
holiday.
Any holiday, Walgreens, all these will do 20% off, 25% off, save the dates. Any kind of printage, we saved a lot of money that
What a
way.
great tip.
Yeah. it was
Yeah.
I'm
Kinda random.
always recommending.
Yeah, that I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. That's awesome.
So we were at your holiday party
Yeah.
or your party, and you were told us you were
Yeah.
like, I was like, the next thing is to save the dates, and you were like, get them now, holiday pricing, and I was like, oh,
And shout out to your holiday party. It
was
was
fun.
so
Let's-
fun.
Okay, let's
we could
talk about
let's
it.
go. This is a perfect
I-
transition.
because
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
able to
I
be there.
know.
I know.
Yeah.
I have
I
to
missed you.
apologize.
That's okay.
I was not feeling good, and then I had an
Got it.
event the next
you
day.
had
Yeah.
Nusendo, right?
Yeah,
Maybe not, but you had something.
but I had an event,
You had to rest up.
and I was like, oh man,
Mhm.
and I was gonna try like to get there, and I was like, all right, this is not smart. But I knew we had these two
Had to send
going.
in the troops.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were going to represent, but I did hear
They
from
did represent
Jasmine.
well.
I was at Hotel Albuquerque, and Jasmine was talking about it with me, and she's like,
She's
"Oh
a
my god, it
blast.
was so yeah." She was like, "It was so much fun."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a blast. There was it was a long time coming, and there was a lot of things that put into it. So it felt really good to kind of share the news that we had, and that party we try to make it annual, and we will be bringing it back. So
Oh yeah.
look out for that. But it had a lot more meeting this time because of the rebrand and
Mhm.
announcement. So
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and that too, was cool. I didn't know what the announcement was going
Yeah.
to be when you guys
Mhm.
got together. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah,
But
the
it
invite was very like
it was awesome.
how do I say it? Not cryptic, but that same kind of like
intriguing, right?
intriguing.
Yeah, no,
right?
you gave us a little
We
We
teaser,
got the
right?
invite,
Yep.
and we were like, "What could this be?" Right?
Yep.
And so we got
Well,
it.
someone was like, "Are y'all leaving? Are y'all quitting?" And I was like, "Why would we announce that?"
yeah.
No, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
no.
wanted our, favorites and everyone we love in the community to be there, so it was
Yeah.
special.
And
that
everyone was
everybody
just having such a great time. Like that was the coolest thing to just see like everyone in our industry
Yeah.
like really enjoying themselves. And let me say something. That was the best damn margarita I have ever had.
Hey.
Like those margaritas
They
were
had, like,
so good.
Yeah.
They were using like prickly pear.
Yeah,
They were.
so we had our specialty cocktails. I myself am a vodka drinker.
Yeah.
Martinis are my thing,
Yeah.
but I wanted to make sure people had what they wanted, and
Just
the
cover all the
margarita was
bases.
yeah,
Yeah.
margarita, tequila, bourbon, and vodka are like the best things to do.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I knew the prickly pear would be a hit because it's a hit at weddings.
And who was doing the bar that night?
ABQ Bar Keeps.
Yep, ABQ
Yep.
Bar Keeps.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
awesome. They take care of everybody. They've taken care of us for Friender Wars,
Yeah.
all kinds of different
Yeah,
things. So
I
love
believe I
ABQ
did
Barkeep.
one event with them, and they were super awesome, so easy to work with. We were actually set up, I believe, in like a backyard, which
Okay.
was really cool, and they were awesome.
They're really great at that.
And
They can adapt
yeah.
to anything.
And they're
Yeah.
really great at making a good drink.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's very underrated. Like, just a really good drink. When
Yeah.
somebody knows how to mix, like mixology and all that is so real. So,
Mhm.
like, shout out to them for having that on
Yeah.
lock
Yeah.
because they make some really great drinks.
And then they even have the churro burro. too.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that was really special.
That's
When
fun.
I invited him, I didn't want him to have to work,
Yeah.
but he called me asking if he could, so I got permission, and we thought it was a great idea because vendors don't get to enjoy
No.
donkeys.
I always get to see it.
You
Yeah.
get to work the event, but you
Yeah.
don't actually get to take pictures and
It's
enjoy
true.
it. So I think it was really special because not a lot of people have met Margarita.
Yeah.
She was their newer one, so
Nice.
it was special for everybody to get to see her.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah.
That was a fun time. Just being able to hang out with everybody in a social setting, not
Yeah.
really worry about.
That's something that's always been important to us.
Yeah.
I feel like as vendors, we don't get to
We're always
necessarily
working
network.
together.
Yeah, we work and we see each other, but it's not as easy to connect on a emotional or friendship level.
Totally.
Yeah.
To really nurture relationships. So that's always been important to us.
Definitely. And if you think about it, the only time we really bond or connect with each other is when we sit down for a quick meal
Yeah.
for a wedding or whatever. We're just talking,
Yeah. For
conversation.
like a 20-minute,
Yeah, and then it's over, right?
Mhm.
So having a space
it's
to
like speed dating.
yeah, no, it
Yeah.
really is. Yeah, so having a space to talk to each other and hang out, especially for the holidays too, that's always fun
Yeah.
to be together.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear it's coming back since I missed out on all the fun
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about it a little bit. Like, what was the purpose of the party? Like,
Yeah,
what was the
so
overall goal?
I brought the party around back in 2022
Yeah.
because I did feel that there was a lack of a social setting for vendors to really break the ice.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to go to a networking event when people go with like business cards to actually connect.
Yeah.
I wanted to really get like below the surface level of connection and bring people together because a lot of photographers don't get to hang out, a lot of DJs don't get to hang out,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
in certain groups. And I would say the nice thing about New Mexico is we are a lot more community based compared to other states in the industry.
Totally.
So
Definitely.
I wanted to bring us together in more of an emotional setting to really bond and connect so that we can better our community, better our couples, better the experience. So that's why I brought it about.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a big hit then that we just wanted to bring it back. And then the party just this past year obviously evolved because we had an announcement to make. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Nice.
nice. So let's get into this announcement.
Yeah.
And the heart of this episode today is going to be talking about rebranding. And so before we get like too deep, when did you first realize that something needed to change?
Roughly about a year ago,
Okay.
actually. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to sit with the decision and really let it mature, I would say, because
Mhm.
I didn't want to jump to change things. You mentioned that a rebrand is more than just a logo change, which is totally true. There's
Right.
a lot of things that go into a rebrand.
Mhm.
There's a lot of decisions, and it really can affect the projection of your business. It can also stall things.
Right.
So I wanted to take time to think through, as a planner, all of the perspectives of what it could do to my business, good and bad. I wanted to think about the pros and cons. And it took me a while to really find the right person to work with to rebrand and do a new website, to really make a new brand itself in the name. I wanted someone who understood where I was hoping to go with the business. So interviewing other brand designers and website creators.
Mm.
So it took a while. So I've
Yeah.
been sitting with it for a year.
Yeah, that's interesting because I have struggled with this. Like Tony knows this since he's been with me, and it started even before he came on board. Because I've thought of rebranding many different times, and have never gone through with it. And I feel like it's kind of at this point past the point of return. Just because when I originally started Cutmaster, the whole name Cutmaster Music, right? It was like at that time it was all about bringing like these kind of like nightclub and those elements to private events and cutting it up on the records and that sort of thing. And so I just combine words, right? Like kind of cutting and scratching with records. And then I always liked, being a master of something. You're the master of music. And so that's how that all kind of came about. So which was fine, but then as we started evolving, right, and doing more than just music with photo booths and then just lighting and all that stuff. And then we were starting to get into more production type things. This was like pre-COVID. I just felt like we were more than that, but then we've kind of become known as Cutmaster, right? Which was also unique too, because you want something that's unique and not like everybody else.
Definitely.
I feel like there's so many different types of like elite, using elite or something like
Elite
that.
wedding entertainment.
Platinum sounds.
Yeah.
And like I
There's
just didn't.
keywords that are a lot more popular.
Right, I
Yeah.
didn't want
Yes.
something generic, right? And so we've just become known as Cutmaster, and I've just now we've embraced that.
I like
whole
it
thing,
because
right?
it's almost like the word Sprite.
Mhm.
Like when they first said Sprite, it's like, what? But now it's its own entity. It's
yeah.
Sprite.
Yeah.
Cutmaster, it signals certain emotions, memories.
Yeah.
People can hear that word
Definitely.
and fully envision what that word represents. And it's interesting, right? Because you don't
Right.
want to break that.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
part
like,
of building a brand.
Well,
Yeah,
and
right?
so I feel
Exactly.
at some point, so it's like Twitter. You're past the point of no return, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you change, you're still going to be known as Twitter. Like
Yeah.
you can
yeah,
name it X,
there
you can
we
name
go.
it whatever you
Tweet.
I
Yeah.
have never heard anyone call Twitter X.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even call
even,
it X.
Even now,
Yeah,
commonly,
like,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, I read a tweet, and you know what we're talking
Talking about,
but it's like,
exactly.
oh,
Yep.
it's supposed to be like I read an X post.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Nobody
I'll
says-
still be
Nobody says
known
that.
as Lace and Bow. I will still be known as Lace and Bow.
Of course,
You
that's
know,
fine.
Definitely.
It'll take a while to transition.
You're in
so-
my head as Taylor Fail, Lace and Bow. That's
Yeah.
how I like have you in
Yeah.
there. But
So-
it doesn't.
and I'm fully prepared to understand that. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
give us like the short version of Lace and Bow Bridal, how it started and what it became.
Yeah, so I always wanted to do wedding planning. It was just kind of a passion project. And I was working in veterinary medicine when COVID hit. I got really burnt out on my job and decided I wanted to go into business full time. And I have no business background, no business degree. My parents don't have businesses. So this was all very new. And to jump in during COVID was quite an experience.
Yeah.
But
It'd be fun, they said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's really, as long as you have the right motivation and drive, if you have a personal why, that's really important.
Mhm.
So I cold turkey left my job, started Lace and Bow, and
It was just you by yourself?
yeah, it was just me until the end of 2021 when I decided to bring on assistants. And in 2022 is when I promoted, I brought on and started training my associate, Brianna. She's my senior associate. And so she started training in 2022. She did her first wedding in 2023, which is when we started expanding even more. I started training a new one in 2023, the fall. We promoted another person. 2024, there was 3 of us, which
Mhm.
here it's not overly saturated with planners. So
Right.
there is a big need. After
Yeah.
COVID, that was a nice thing, is it pushed a lot more need for planners and coordinators. And then 2024 is when it kind of hit that I just felt like, I feel like I need to kind of change things up a little bit. I was really stuck in what I wanted that to look like. So we started updating our systems and our workflows and really elevating that element.
Mhm.
But the end of 2024, I felt like I was still kind of stuck and I needed something to change. And I felt that my brand was not keeping up with the work that we were doing, which is when I knew I needed to shift something. So that's where I started exploring a rebrand.
Interesting. So at its peak, what would you say that Lace and Bow was doing like really well?
I would say we are really good at seamless execution on a day of. We are very detail oriented, and that's because coming from a science background, those details really make the difference. A lot of little things make up a big thing
Mhm.
in my mind.
Yeah.
So I trained my team to understand that. I know like a 5-minute break or 5 minutes behind may mean like nothing to you, but in the end, it's a domino effect. So those little things really do make a difference in the pictures and the experience and, the review that the couples leave.
Mhm.
So I would say the experience that we deliver was really our peak. That's what we were doing at our prime. So we started evolving that into how we could elevate the experience in the planning, not just the day of,
Right.
which is where we started expanding into design. So this is something that helps us stand out a little bit more now is our design with our clients. And now the rebrand.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very
Okay, so then you talked about, the why and the importance of that, right? So what started to feel like a little misaligned with the old brand?
I felt that we were producing events that I love Lace Bow for what it was. It got us to where we are.
Right.
But it became more of a cutesy name. And I feel like we're doing some really amazing work with
Yeah.
our clients, some high-end work with designing, with bigger budgets, with certain venues, even going out of state.
Mhm.
And I just felt that the name was too cutesy. It just wasn't attracting and continuing to bring that type of client in,
Yeah.
which is where we're wanting to evolve to.
Totally.
Right.
Makes sense.
And it just wasn't keeping up. So I wanted our name to be really attracting more high-end.
Yeah, it's
So it
funny.
sounds like
Definitely.
you're evolving into this
Yeah.
luxury space, right?
Exactly. And luxury looks very different. I think this is a big misconception in our industry. Luxury, most people associate it to money, but it's not necessarily money. It also is the experience that you deliver.
Absolutely.
100%.
And that's where we focus on a luxury experience, even if you don't have the biggest budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So was it more like personal growth, market changes, burnout, or like all of the above?
Yeah, it was kind of all of the above. I did get burnt out over the past couple of years just trying to go above and beyond to deliver. I had a lot of things that went wrong in my personal life in 2024 that affected my business. And maybe on the outside, nobody knew that, but I was burnt
Yeah.
out. I was so burnt out, and I was trying to rediscover why I loved weddings. And I didn't want my team to pick up my negative effect of the business. So I had to, figure out what I could do to put more momentum back into my business and in my team. So I did get burnt out. I also felt that every couple of years the market shifts. We have cycles, ebbs and flows in
Right.
sales, in styles, and trends, and what's in, what's out.
Mhm.
And I felt like we were kind of in this middle ground, and that's why we're really excited for 2026. I feel like there's a lot of great things that are coming our way. We just all have to be able to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got it. So yeah, in like some ways, it's like basically you'd outgrown the brand,
Yeah,
right?
I
You
really
know?
did. And that's what I felt like. I know Lace Bow was a starting point, but businesses do evolve over time with your
Definitely.
team, with your sales, with what you attract, the clientele, and we just outgrew it.
So I would say, for other vendors listening, what are some signs that you have found that a business owner might look at and say, "Hey, I might be due for a rebrand"?
So one of the things I would say is if your why no longer aligns. I feel like that's really like more of a psychological mental background. So if your why is no longer aligning to the work you're doing, then you maybe need to evaluate where you're at. A big one I would say is a lot easier to find is your client. Are you attracting the client that you want to work with? If you are no longer attracting that client or you're continuing to attract the wrong client, then you do need to evaluate, is it the client that's the problem? Is it my brand that's the problem? Is it my experience that is the problem?
So there's definitely some flags there that
Yeah.
to keep an eye out
Yeah.
for, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Absolutely. And then I think you also need to evaluate the market and the industry because we do evolve every couple of years and we do ebb and flow. So you need to kind of understand that is your business still aligning with where the industry is going and where you want it to go?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So how did you decide to do like a complete rebrand instead of just like, so some people like us, for example, like we know like this is the time of year we usually it's slow season for us. So I like to say I spend time working on the business instead of in the business, right? So during this time of year, so we're going to do things where we tweak some things, like we just did with this podcast. Our podcast every year we've come with basically kind of like a new theme, so to
Fresh,
speak,
yeah.
Yeah.
a refresh. And so this is season 4.
Yep.
And we always refresh the music. That's one way. If you wanted to go back and look at previous episodes and seasons, you'll see the music changes, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna tweak like little things like that, right? So how did you decide that you needed a rebrand instead of just like changing some colors and things like that?
Yeah, I first of all, coming up with a name for a business is one of the hardest.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that
Yeah.
too.
But having Lace and Bow, it took me a while to come up with that name. And I felt like when I came up with the name, it was easy to figure out what a logo would be. But I had a hard time really figuring out whether I could evolve the logo with keeping the same name. And I struggled. I used AI. I went back and forth talking to my mentor, to my husband, who's also in business and does marketing and things. So that's why I sat with this for a while. I really wanted to make sure if I was going to rebrand, I want this brand to be so strong, I never have to do this again.
Right.
So I wanted to have like huge momentum moving forward. And, ideally, when businesses rebrand, they do it once, they never do it again.
Yeah.
It is a very expensive process as well. So be
Absolutely.
prepared if you're going to do it. Be ready to invest in it, but it is worth it if you invest in it.
Definitely.
So I figured out that the name just wasn't going to work. And to be honest, I have competitors who are peers, and our names are just a little too similar sometimes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stand out a little bit more, so I started
Yeah.
trying to figure out. Basically, I went about figuring out what did I want my business to be known for, and what type of keyword could I use to determine that business.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Verdeux Co.
Yeah, so a lot of the work that we do is more design focused. We have a lot of couples that are focused more on like European inspired, garden style. So the type of work we were doing is how I really got inspired by looking for something more European heritage.
Yeah.
My husband also comes from Louisiana, and there's a lot more Cajun and French background there.
Go Tigers. Right?
Yeah.
The South is very important.
Yeah.
I even spent some time growing up in the South. So I wanted something that felt home in multiple ways. But I also wanted to reflect the type of work we were doing and continue to attract the client that we're working with that we love to do. So Verdeux is not really a word. We made that up.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. So there's not really a true meaning out there for it. It could be spelled differently, but it is spelled the French way with Verdeau. Because I wanted, X, and then I wanted really to lean into that French style. So
Yeah.
we made up that word using.
love it.
I went back and forth with my husband and AI really to try to find the right way.
Yeah.
And my husband happened to pop out and say, so I'll give credit to my husband. He's the one who really came out with that word.
Good job, hubby.
Good job.
So he just said Verdeux. He's like, what about the word Verdeux?
We were going back and forth, and I knew I wanted something European inspired, and so we were leaning into that, spelling
Sure.
of dough.
I got you.
aspect. So, and I wanted something that was very organic and nature inspired. We really, with design, love to bring the outdoors in. So even if it's a ballroom wedding, I want it to feel like there's nature and it's a lot of organic elements. I want to incorporate all of that into it because we always consider the 5 senses in our designs. So that was something else I wanted to lean into with the name because it is a lot more organic inspired.
Yeah. And
Nice.
it rolls off the tongue so
It
nicely.
sounds-
Okay.
Going.
So that's
Sounds
the
chic. If you
It-
say it
it
out loud,
does.
it sounds expensive.
It does.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, so we got Verdeux, and then the second half and Co.
Yeah, because it's not just me. My team, I honestly could not do this without my team. When I started planning, I have always had the desire to lean into the community, and I wanted to build other people up. So I wanted to find the right team members who wanted to make a career out of this and really have a passion for it, maybe even more than I do,
Yeah.
which is where the Co came from. But I also, at the party, made a comment, and kind of when I announced it, the Co isn't just my team, the Co is also the community. I wanted the community to understand that they were a part of our decision. They are a part of what makes Verdeux Co who we are. So I wanted to give back to the community in that way as well, to acknowledge them.
That's awesome. I mean, I can see like there's so much thought put into this.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Everything is so meaningful down to the
Yeah, and it's
name.
intentional.
And intentional, yeah, and the Co, like not just our company, but the community as well, which is like when you're thinking about these things, super thoughtful.
Yeah.
You could tell you did sit with this for a year is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like I make decisions in a day. Like I give you props for sitting with that for a whole year.
And to keep it a secret.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, and that's where I would.
Did
be
you have
like,
the name for that long?
Yeah,
No. I would say we probably had the name for about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
still a good amount of time.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's the biggest like mind shift that you had to make stepping into a new brand?
I had to essentially not necessarily grieve my old brand, but I needed to accept and really look forward to what the new brand could be and where
Yeah.
the business could go
Mm-hmm.
by saying goodbye to the old brand. Because I did put my heart, my love, my attention, my blood, sweat, and tears and money
Mm-hmm.
into that brand.
Yeah.
And I needed to come to terms that it could be a lot more if I let it go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's the emotional part. So I'm trying to envision myself, right? Like if
Yeah.
I had rebranded,
Yeah.
I think I'd never thought of that, and I think that would be tough. That
It
would be hard.
is.
It's hard letting go of something that you've built, right? From the ground up and
Nobody loves your business like you do.
right.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
then to rebrand it, it's hard to say goodbye to it.
Yeah, and then it's kind of everywhere. Like when you said that about Cutmaster, I'm like looking around and I'm seeing Cutmaster logos and just
Right.
little reminders of,
Yeah.
if we were to rebrand, what was,
I've done it many times.
Yeah.
I've done it now, especially with AI. Like
Yeah.
if you were to rebrand, or if you were to to refresh our logo, what would you do? And then the stuff it comes up with, I'm like, no way, like that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of hard. I feel like I don't know. There's something that feels like I got it right the first time with that, and it's just unique. Nobody has that. Like, and why do I want to mess around with it?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Definitely.
Now that is a key point right there. That is really important with rebranding. You do need to know when not to mess up your brand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that is some people make that mistake. I think that they mess around too much. And this is where there's a difference in a rebrand of like the logo and colors to like a full rebrand and like revamp of your business. And some people may update their colors or their logo every couple of years,
Mhm.
but you need to know when not to mess up your brand.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, if you look kind of even there in the hallway, right? So our hallway here has basically a history of Cutmaster music from early, like what looks like, what was the first types of logos that we used to use, like Microsoft
Like,
Paint or
yeah,
something,
word art.
like word art, clip art.
Clip art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like what that is right there.
Yeah.
That's clip art, with
Yeah.
Cutmaster music, and then all the way up until I actually decided to pay for, a redesign and
Right.
whatnot. So that's what I did at that time too. And I have to remind myself of that.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I paid for a redesign of the logo and the font and everything to not really have to ever
It's
do it again.
so
Yeah.
worth the investment. I will highly, highly, highly recommend and stand on this. If you want to rebrand and fully rebrand the right way, one time, work with a brand designer.
Yeah.
Because it was expensive, but so worth the money. I would pay that 10 times over.
Well,
I
you
feel like
know-
it's so much better set up.
What was that like? Or go
Yeah.
ahead first.
No, and I was gonna say that probably working with somebody who does branding and brand design
Yeah.
probably took a lot of weight off of your shoulders, right?
did.
To be
Helps.
thinking and
You need to get out of your
creating.
own way to figure out,
Exactly.
well, I'm a designer, but I'm not a brand designer.
Yeah.
I design weddings.
Yeah.
And so I
Definitely.
think working with a professional, just like how people work with us,
Right.
right? We're
Yeah.
good at our job and I'm good at planning. I'm not a good DJ. I even told Tony this with my planning of my party. I cannot do this. I cannot make a playlist. It's not my area of expertise. So,
Yeah.
Dang it, we're hiring. So I was hoping you.
You need playlist makers.
Yeah, right.
yeah, even like using AI. No way. Not my area. So I think it's important that you're working with someone who's a professional at what they do.
Yeah.
And that's where knowing and doing your research of finding the right person, right?
Yeah.
In which it did take a while to find the right person that I felt understood where I wanted to go. And the nice thing about the designer I worked with is that she had really good questionnaires and just prompts and questions of scenarios. Like one of them was, if your brand, your business was to walk into a room, how would they present themselves? What would they be like? How would they talk to people?
Like if the brand
Wow.
was a
yeah,
person.
as if it was a person, because it is a
Yeah.
persona. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
Good
in and
question.
of itself. So there were so many good questions of what she had in her questionnaire that it really made me think about my brand differently
Deeper,
than
right?
I could have on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, personifying your
E-
brand.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And like seeing, what does that look like? What kind of
Yeah.
personality traits does the brand have?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great question.
And I
'Cause then it
saved
allows
it
you to-
so that I can keep my brand tone and voice in check.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's
Nice.
awesome.
I uploaded it into AI, used ChatGPT. Now it understands if I need help, it knows how to do it.
And
Is
the-
there anything else that with working with that designer, maybe some nuggets that you could give a listener out there right now that they could just things to think about with their brand? Anything? Because that was really good. I like that. Having a persona for your brand. I think we talk about having a persona for our clients, right? Like what does your perfect client look like?
Yep.
Or your perfect couple, like when
Yep.
they walk in the room, what age are they? What are they listening to? Where do
Yeah.
they hang out? So
Exactly.
your brand, do the same thing for your brand, right? Is there anything else, like one or two things that you could think of?
I think that when I was looking for inspiration about what I wanted my brand colors and logo to look like, we have to remember that weddings are not the only ones that have, designer brands.
Right.
So I had to look at home industry and fashion and really explored Pinterest in a different way than I normally do, because I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest for weddings.
Mm.
Yeah.
But in a brand, it actually was very helpful for inspiration so that I could better see how things were presented in a picture on a brand.
So you looked up different like planners in the Pinterest kind of world and like compared it? Is that
So I actually I did that.
Yeah.
I did look at other planners across the country and world to see like whose website and branded I think maybe is what I was looking more towards.
Sure.
But I also went on Pinterest and was searching fashion industry brands and
I got you.
some of
Not
my
just wedding.
yeah, no, I
understand.
did
Yes.
luxury brands. Like some of my inspiration when I was rebranding was like Ritz-Carlton
Yeah.
and Tiffany & Co. There was a lot of other big brands because there are so many things out there. So, for
Absolutely, yeah.
example, when I came up with the name, my biggest inspiration was Cartier. I wanted something that when you say it, it just sounds luxury. It sounds
Right.
expensive. It makes it sound like there's an experience with that brand automatically. You just know it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know you're going to
Totally.
get what you're paying for. So that's something that we have to think about is that there's so many brands out there besides weddings that we needed to look outside of that.
Yeah,
So
that kind of invoked that same emotion.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
exactly. Because everybody is branding themselves. There's personal brands out there,
Yeah.
Influencers and things like that. So when you're looking for inspiration for a rebrand, you want to look everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally
Not-
everywhere.
Yeah, I
Just
get-
in your own
Definitely.
lane, but like if you're a photographer looking at National Geographic
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
Watch-
corporate photos
Yeah,
or see
exactly.
what their brand looks like. Yeah.
Exactly. You could look at Netflix.
Sure.
Those producers, how do they
Yeah.
brand themselves?
Yeah.
I like that you looked though at other brands that are in the luxury space, right? Like you think
Yeah.
of Tiffany and you think of probably like, well, I don't know, like Versace and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? That are like when you're looking at fashion or Tiffany's diamonds and things like, what is the upper echelon for those
What does that look like?
different
Yeah.
verticals,
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Now, knowing that I was rebranding and putting money into this, I also needed to evaluate what my marketing looked like because I didn't want to stay stagnant in my marketing where I was marketing myself. I needed to elevate where I was marketing myself. So I changed some of the platforms that I was marketing from.
Mm.
That was something else I had to think about because I wanted to present my brand higher than it was currently at because I elevated my brand. So I needed to elevate my marketing.
So what
Right.
did you
Definitely.
change? Where were you marketing and then
So
What
we
did
were
you-
leaning in a lot more to local marketing, which
Yeah.
we're still doing,
Sure.
but we now lean a lot more outside of that. So, for example, Four Seasons has a pamphlet that they give out to people when they come to the property to stay.
Yeah.
We actually have an ad in that pamphlet now that's given out, and I think they estimate like 38,000 pamphlets given out each year.
Great.
So that
Yeah.
goes everywhere. It's on their website and everything. So I needed to align with brands higher than
Mhm.
myself
I got you.
in order to bring me with them.
Nice.
Definitely.
And that
Okay.
makes total sense because
So-
I found, that brands like Four Seasons,
Fonda.
La Fonda,
Heritage, I
Bishop's
Bishop's
Lodge.
Lodge,
Yeah.
like a lot of them,
Mhm.
a lot of these weddings that we work they bring in planners from out of state, right? So you're looking to how can I get somebody to shop local
Yeah.
and give them that elevated
Exactly.
experience,
It's
right?
not that we
Definitely.
don't love out of state planners coming in here. Actually, sometimes they're really great to keep us on our toes. However, I would love for people to spend money locally in New Mexico.
Yeah.
It obviously helps our community. And
Right.
it really, I think New Mexico, some of us are trying so hard to get past the stereotype of what New Mexico weddings are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we're trying to really push momentum to bring more here.
Definitely.
I mean, and having someone that's from here, lives here, there's just no, you can't replace that, right? There's going to be certain things culturally and that you can bring into the space that just people that aren't from here, planners, it does. I mean, and it's no knock. It'd be the same thing for us going to, I don't know,
Wherever,
like
yeah.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Jamaica or somewhere like
Exactly.
any
Yeah.
other culture. We just aren't going to have that experience.
Well,
Definitely.
environmentally, think about it. a planner can read a radar. You know, they can see what the weather's going to look like, but
The local
but
knows.
local people know how
past.
New Mexico rain is.
Right.
We know whether to watch it, if
Mhm.
it's going to blow past, if it's going to rain for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
rather than an out-of-state planner may freak and like flip the whole wedding around when
Right.
really they probably could have been patient and waited it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Great point.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
La Marcha
Yeah.
or DJs,
Yeah,
right? Like you bring
definitely.
somebody in from Florida and they're like, we want to do the wedding.
Music wise, they're going to have
Like,
no
what
idea.
is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So same idea.
I think, you know, also the connections that we have locally are just
Yes.
a lot more stronger than an out-of-state planner trying to connect with you guys
Totally.
and anyone else, you
You're,
know?
you're going to know too. Like you have to source vendors. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you do as a planner. You're bringing in all these different elements and different people and different vendors to make this experience.
Yeah.
You're going to know locally who to source, who not to source, you know, in a lot of cases, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Versus out-of-state planners, they're basing everything off of Instagram and Google and
Yeah.
websites. We know personally with our experience of who are the right fit for our clients
Yep.
rather
Right.
than just what's online.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about like some of the fears that come along with this. What was the most maybe intimidating part of telling people?
I think the most intimidating part about sharing the news was
Yeah.
that people weren't going to be supportive, or they were going to not accept the new brand as
Like,
much as
no.
they accepted it as Lace and Bow.
You're Lace and Bow.
Yeah, I want like let's be honest. There are some vendors stuck in their ways,
Sure,
in
I can
good
see that.
ways, but was a little concerned that it would affect our relationships.
Mhm.
That some
Ooh.
people just weren't actually going to shift and adapt with us, because we are ultimately trying to bring more business to New Mexico to
Yes.
give back to vendors.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
So I wanted vendors to be more open and willing to support our brand. That's changing.
yeah.
Yep.
That's good. That's a very valid fear because you don't know how
yes.
people are going to react
Yeah.
to it, and people, like you're saying, are stuck in their ways, and change can often bring that type of emotion. That
Yeah. Or
I mean,
support
how did you
it.
take it? Was it a
Loved
shock?
it. I was pumped.
You know, I
I
wasn't.
thought cool.
I thought cool
for
too.
her.
I wasn't shocked necessarily. I was just like, the balls that Taylor has. This is awesome. Like, I love it. She's
Yeah.
willing to really do this like full on, which I thought was cool. But also, I can see where you're coming from with that too, because there's also, you know, that fear like, will people support it as hard as they supported Lace and Bow? And just having that, you know, kind of fear is a valid feeling,
Yeah.
like Tony said.
Yeah.
It's very valid.
Did you have any worries about like maybe confusing like current? That's a issue too, right? Like confusing current clients and
Absolutely.
or losing recognition.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so that is something that one of our core values in business is transparency, communication with our clients. It's something we always tell them up front. And I wanted to be very transparent with clients so that they knew what was coming. So I actually told my clients before it was ever announced.
Nice.
Because I wanted them to be prepared. I didn't want it to be a shock. I wanted them to know they're getting the same experience, the same customer service, like above and beyond. It's just a new name behind it.
right.
You know, so it is a very valid fear. I think as long as you're communicating to your clients properly and you let them know, I thought it was important to tell them before vendors knew. So,
Totally.
I've been kind of getting the word out a little at a time.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
you know, I think you think of your clients, right? Like all of a sudden, they're following you on Lace and Bow, they're following your socials, they're doing all this
Yeah.
stuff, and then to all of a sudden, like
Yeah.
it be changed.
Did
Like,
you?
did they get hacked? Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I also wanted my clients to understand that the part of why we rebranded is I wanted my brand to represent their wedding really well.
Yeah.
I wanted them to know that they got the planner that was right for them, and that because I'm so proud to be their planner and design it, I
Yeah.
wanted my brand to reflect that.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
another reason
amazing.
why.
And there was something you said earlier that just has really been sticking with me when you said that luxury is not a price, it's more of a feeling.
Yeah, an experience.
An experience. Yeah. And I'm like,
I think we get the stereotype that luxury means money.
yeah.
It does sound like it is money, but that can be reflected in different ways. You're paying for a
Totally.
luxury experience, you're paying for a luxury wedding. Like that luxury word can be used intermittently.
Yeah, and
anywhere.
your clients are still gonna get the same
Yeah.
experience.
Actually,
with-
we improved our experience because of this. We
E-
wanted
exactly.
to elevate it far more.
exactly.
Yeah, right. If you're bringing up the branding and all that, you start reevaluating like how can we elevate it
Yeah,
even more.
exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, that's when we decided to really make a push into the elevated wedding experience as well. I knew, like for us, it couldn't just be saying that we're going to charge this much money. Like what's behind that? Like what's backing it, right? And
Right.
so we knew that, yeah, okay. And we do this every year. We reevaluate. What are we doing this year to elevate the experience, right? So some years it's lighting, and we purchase like these, amazing new fixtures or whatnot. Some years, like a couple of years ago, it was actually in the sound that I made an effort to say like our sound is getting better this year. Like nobody's going to be able to say that they sound better than us. So it's like it can be things like that, and I think that's something to think about, right? When you are rebranding, what is it that comes with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a name change. What about the experience?
It's very multifaceted. There's
Right.
so
Yeah.
many things that are in a business and a brand that you really don't think about until you have to rebrand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if I know you've learned a lot by doing
Yeah.
this. So what are some things that you learned that if you could do differently,
Yeah, a year ago.
you would
what
go
would
back,
tell-
you would go back or you would tell somebody like,
what would you tell Taylor a year ago?
I would. The funniest thing is, I would probably tell myself to start putting money aside sooner.
Okay.
Oh,
For it.
that's a great tip.
Because I did not understand the cost that would go into the investment of rebranding.
Yeah.
Might be a little pricier than anticipated.
Yeah, especially because it's more than just the logo and website. It's also what we wear. It's also our marketing materials that go out, our business cards. There's a lot of other ways that our business brand is out there. So there's a lot that goes into that. The cost started to build up very quickly,
Yeah.
as well as the party, because we have a little bit of our budget that we allocate to that party every year. But because it was a bigger announcement, we wanted to make sure that it was designed well, it looked beautiful,
Yeah.
but it was also a
Yeah.
great experience. So we put more money into that as well because of the announcement.
Totally.
So I would say, like, number one thing is, even if you think like maybe in the near future you may explore that, I would just start putting money aside now, because that cost, if you're willing to invest it, it will pay off 10 times over.
and probably save you money, right? Like,
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to save you
absolutely.
money, because then you're going to start attracting the right client. You can actually make more money by the brand being elevated and more
Totally.
updated. So that would be my number one trick.
Nice.
Definitely.
Save money.
Save money. Yeah.
Put money aside.
Have you experienced, now that the word is out, you had the launch party. What feedback have you gotten so far?
Honestly, the feedback at the party was so good. I felt so overwhelmed with the love and support from the community, because hopefully all the vendors in the community know how much we love them and how much we want to support them. But it's to see it returned back. I felt like my cup was overflowing. I really felt so much love.
That's good. Yeah, that had to be
community.
kind of nerve-wracking leading up to
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And honestly,
Definitely.
I was so nervous.
Throwing
for
a
that
party
announcement.
always is tough.
Yeah.
You put the invites out, you do all this work, you make all these things, and then you're like, well, hopefully they show up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and there was a lot of people that were sick, and then there was things that were happening, and I was like, oh my gosh, some of these people aren't going to come, but it was going to be what it was going to be, and I wasn't too worried about it. But most of the years that we've had a party, I don't make any type of grand announcement. We just say
Yeah.
thanks for coming, and we hope you had a good time. But
but you're throwing a new name on top of it and
Yeah.
doing this whole release, right? That like nobody was.
yeah, there was a lot more pressure to it. I made sure the team, like, we dressed nicer. I told all the vendors, like, to come how you feel comfortable, but I wanted us to present well, because we
You-
were hosting.
And your new brand, right?
your
What does
brand,
the new
yeah.
brand look like?
Exactly. So it was a lot of pressure building up to it, but I felt so much love from the community.
It was
So
fun. It was like genuinely a fun time.
No, it was. And there was something that you guys did, which I thought was super awesome. So if you notice, when you grabbed your drink before the announcement, just a normal drink, okay?
Yeah.
When you grabbed your drink after the announcement, there was a little, Verdeux Co.
we had
Yes.
branding over
Branding.
everything after the announcement. We had
a
cocktail
cake.
napkins,
It's-
cocktail
yeah.
stirs.
What was
We
that
had-
disc? What
it
was
was
that
an
thing?
edible topper. So
An
it's made out of
edible
wafer.
topper. Yeah.
It's made out of wafer paper, so it's edible.
Yes.
Where
Where did you get those?
Etsy.
Etsy. I
Yeah.
wanted that to be known for tips out there.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
they weren't too expensive, right?
No, the stir sticks, those were also from Etsy. The napkins from Etsy.
Excellent personalization that didn't break the bank.
Yeah, I
right?
was
So-
trying to brand as much as possible, but I did hold off to put them out until the announcement, because I didn't want people to know.
Of course.
Yeah.
And for all our people who are listening, booking, our couples wanting to book a wedding planner, that attention to detail right there is something that is so so life changing
Yeah.
for your wedding day, right? Like they had that plotted so well that after the announcement, there's just Verdeux Co stuff everywhere,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
I had to have a little meeting with the bartenders before the event started to tell them these do not come out of this drawer until I make that announcement.
Yeah, it was awesome. I
That was
loved
cool.
that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
So how has it been now because the party was in
December 4th.
December, early December. So since then,
Been about a month.
how has the change been? Like do you feel like aligned with the
I am
brand
so
now? And
eager to get it out.
Yeah.
I am so excited to like put it out there, start advertising it more, put the name out there. The website goes live next week, so
How exciting.
it's been a lot of momentum. It was just at like a weird time with the holidays, so I've been having to like
right.
What
you
was
know,
Well, because you said
Yeah.
you were gone literally out of state for what,
Yeah.
20 something
Yeah.
days?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we were out of office, but I also wanted to like get a jump start and like start doing things and changing things, but
What was the mindset on the rollout? Because it's clearly taking
Yeah.
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's okay. I
There
like
is
that.
so much time that goes. So when I started the rebrand process to essentially when my website goes live next week, it's
Mhm.
about 12 to 15 weeks.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
a very
Where it started.
yeah, literally
yeah.
from my kickoff call with the brand designer.
Okay.
So it is a good 3-4 month
Mm-hmm.
process. And I think that's something else you really need to know. It's not an overnight thing.
It takes
Yeah,
time.
takes
There's a
time.
lot of
Yeah.
back and forth feedback where she gave me logos. I said, nope, I don't like this. Let's change this. Let's do this. It's a lot of back and forth. You know, it's collaboration.
Definitely.
But with the mindset, I wanted to essentially kind of hit that momentum of newly engaged season coming out.
Yes. right
So
now.
that's why we really pushed it when we did.
Mm.
I wanted the website to go live right in January when newly engaged couples are looking because
Yep.
Lace and Bow platform of Instagram and website will still be out there. We'll keep it for a couple years because we have to redirect the traffic.
Mm.
Right.
And I can't just like cut my website on that because
Interesting.
I'll just kill momentum. on something.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You'll
So smart.
can't do that with SEO and all
Yeah,
of that.
and all of that is redirected to my new website. However, some people who are still associating us with Lace and Bow will send them to our old website. So I have to keep that. But I wanted essentially to have 2 platforms. That's essentially why we did it in January. I wanted to have 2 platforms. We were trying to get as much leads as possible. And I wanted to really kick up the momentum coming out of engagements.
Nice. Okay, it's super smart and a very good thing to think about being patient and not rushing it. you
Yeah,
know
I
what
think
mean?
the timing is really important because you mentioned this is your like off season, right?
Right.
So in our
Mhm.
company, we have our labor season, which is weddings, and we have our office season. So we don't really call it on and off because
Mm.
we're always working.
Right. right.
Literally
I
all
like
the
that.
time. But we call it our office season because we're doing a lot more behind the scenes, a lot more work. And I
Yeah.
think it's really important if you're going to rebrand, you know when you want to do it because it's hard to do during a labor season. It's hard to do during
Yeah.
weddings.
Yep.
And it's also could be very confusing during wedding season. So you would want to consider what does that look like in my year? Do I start the rebrand process in wedding season and I launch it when off season starts? You would need to think about the timing because it does take a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it does play a huge factor.
Definitely.
All right. I like it. I think we're going to get close to wrapping this one up here. So, what are you most excited about with Verdeux Co. moving forward?
I'm really excited with our designs. I think there's just so much more potential that we can do. Something that we really prioritize and tell our clients is we like to try out of the box ideas. I love our community, but I also want to push our community. I
Right.
want to encourage and give our community the confidence to go outside of what we're known for.
Yeah.
I want to go beyond the norm of what New Mexico weddings are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited for maybe what our brand could bring to New Mexico outside of what we already do.
I think that's fun, and I mean, you sound very similar to the way I think too. Like I'm always like, what's
Mhm.
next?
Yeah.
You know, pushing forward. Like we've got something coming up now that I'm excited about too. And it's very similar, right? Where I'm adding to our experience and giving it more options to our couples as far as what the look and sound feels like on the DJ end of things, right?
Yep.
And you're always kind of just like, what can we do? I don't know. I guess somewhere along the line in one of these the DJ shows or conventions, I heard that, if you're not growing, you're dying.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I agree with
Even
that
if you're
too.
complacent, you
Right.
are killing your business. You need
Exactly.
to constantly be growing, whether it's small or big, but you do need to constantly grow and adapt, because otherwise, if you're becoming complacent, and I can tell you from experience, when you get complacent, your competitors are going to outbeat you.
And that's really
Yeah,
what it is, right? It's
definitely.
always I don't we always talk about community over competition, which we believe in, but you're always I don't want to say you're racing because there's not like like a finish line for any of
Yeah.
us. We're just always trying to stay on the trends and what's next and what can we do different. I think
Yeah.
for us too, when we get
Definitely.
complacent with the music, like we're not. I mean, we can
Playing
talk
the
about
same edits every time.
we play
Yeah.
Celebration, right? Like
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, how do you keep it fresh? And
exactly. It's like, none of us here play just the
Just the radio edit.
the radio edit of Celebration that came out in the 70s or
Yeah.
80s. It's like, how many different times have we
Mhm.
played a different version of that song just to keep it fresh or neat or be ready for the right situation when, oh man, I need an EDM version right now
Yeah.
that would hit hard.
exactly.
Definitely.
I agree. So we are very community based here. We are all about community over competition. I'm really good friends with my peers,
Right.
my other planners in the area. We send business back and forth because I would
Mhm.
much rather them work with someone than no one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that they'll get a good experience.
Right.
So I think it's important to know you're not competing against other people. You're competing against yourself.
That's really what
Pretty
it
much,
is.
yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, you hit it on the head right there. It's what can we do to be better than we were last year?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because don't you want to be better? Don't you want to deliver better service
Yeah,
to your
right. You
clients?
always wanna
Don't you want to
improve and
better the
grow.
community?
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. And I think it's hard. This is a good, I think, tip for especially people that are new. I feel like a lot of people that I was like this coming in new, like, oh, I'm going to take over Albuquerque. I'm going to take over the world, right? And we're going to do it better. And nobody's going on book, nobody but us. And then you're like, and then it's making you upset because you see other people getting booked for this. Why didn't they book me? But I'm already working that night. Why do I even care?
Yeah.
You know?
I hate the comparison game. It is
Yeah.
one of my
Same.
huge pet peeves in every business, even in personal life. I absolutely hate being compared to others. And if I hear someone comparing themselves to someone, I tell them, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're literally
Yeah.
killing your self confidence.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to comparison, it's actually just a scarcity mindset. You're so worried about someone, but really you should just stay in your own lane.
Exactly.
Just pay attention to your own work. You'll get yourself farther if you do that.
That's what it is. It's you again. You hit it on the head.
Well, it's so
Scarcity
funny
mindset.
how that mindset affects you in so many different ways. I was talking about it with my barber the other day. A lot of people are growing and transitioning in early 30s, having kids, getting married, and everybody's pushing that onto him to like do the norm,
Yeah.
be a part of like,
Yeah.
and it's like you need to stay in your own lane and do it your own self. But what I'm trying to say is like that feeling of comparing yourself to others is in
Mhm.
so many different ways. It's often hard,
Yeah.
but you have to look past that because
Definitely.
Yeah.
you're basically
Well, you get-
hurting yourself
you
more
get
than anybody
freed
else.
up when you do, right?
Yeah,
When you're
yeah.
able to
It's
just
a
put
lot.
it
Yes.
when you
Great point.
realize that every weekend there's how many
Mhm.
events in a weekend.
We average in New Mexico 8,000 weddings a year.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we can't
So
do
much business.
crazy.
as a company. We cannot do
Trying to
8,000
do
weddings.
Like if I'm doing 40, I want to do 40 this year, and that's like a lot.
That's a
right?
lot.
And
Yeah.
so that's
That's a
there's
lot.
plenty of to go around,
Yeah.
right?
And also too, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I literally, this is so crazy we're talking about this. I was talking to my mom before I got here,
Yeah.
and we were talking about this. I was like, I'm only one person. I cannot be in LA, DJing in LA, DJing in Albuquerque, DJing in Silver City, DJing. I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And when you kind of get that out of your mind, like there's so much to go around. When I get back to Albuquerque, there'll be something for me in Albuquerque.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wherever I am, it'll be okay. But you're always like, I feel like in our industry, there's always like competition. Like I want all the gigs, I want all the weddings, I want to do all this.
Yeah.
8,000 weddings.
But you know what?
We can't
all
do
of
that.
those couples are not a good fit for me. I don't
Yes.
want
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
don't
don't
agree.
want all those.
There's
weddings.
levels to this, right? That's what
Yes.
I think. I think once you get to the point where, like I said, you're freed.
You're
You're
freed.
freed up, like just mentally, health, business wise, like.
And having that confidence too, like when a couple doesn't work for you, knowing, you know what, I don't want to take this because of, whatever.
Just doesn't align.
It
with
doesn't
what you
align
want.
with me. Having that confidence within your business or yourself, knowing that date's gonna
That
get
goes
booked
back to
regardless.
scarcity.
Yeah, like
you have to learn to say no, because if you're in a
Yes.
scarcity mindset and you say yes to something you'll regret, it actually hurts your business
Right.
because you
Yeah.
could have taken something that better aligned with
Yeah,
you.
you take something for whatever cheap,
and
then you
nothing's-
realize you can charge triple.
quick cash is not good cash.
Yeah.
yes.
There you go.
And also too, it's a blow to like
It hurts your
our
brand.
DJ egos too. Like
Yeah.
when we work with a couple that's not for us and they're not vibing, they're not having
Like,
fun.
all right, well, at least they
and
paid
I'm
me.
and I'm just playing country back to back to back to back to back to back. You know, no mixing involved. Like, what does that do for me?
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It hurts your
you know? It
passion.
hurts
Yeah.
your passion.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I guess I'm
absolutely.
here, human jukebox. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
then
Worse.
check this out. And then you go next level, which is where I want to see others win. Why does it always have to be just like
Yeah.
Yes.
only Cutmaster music wins? That's not what it's about. Like I
Definitely.
love seeing like other guys elevate the experience. We become friends with some of these guys. You know, Party Time, Thomas over there, Rico over at RNS DJs,
Yeah.
Brad King, like Justin over with Complete Music. Like we become like friends with these guys because why can't we all win? Like I want to see us all elevate, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I actually so La Luz, you guys have obviously
Yeah.
had them on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get with them at least twice a year where we just go for coffee or lunch and we just debrief the year. We talk about what went well.
awesome.
We talk about how we're going to better our businesses. We talk about how we can help each other and encourage each other and other planners. Like I do that with other people as well. I think that's really important. Like that is why I think New Mexico is successful in certain ways that we are compared to other places because we are more community based.
Yeah.
We just really should actually be more proud of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
agree with that.
I love it. Okay. Couple last things here. If someone listening feels stuck, they're rebranding or they're thinking about rebranding, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to get an outside perspective. Nobody can understand your brand like you do, but you get in your
Mhm.
own way. So ask someone that you respect their opinion. Even if they give you constructive criticism, I would ask for an outside perspective. Do you think the work I'm doing reflects the brand I have? Do you think that I could be changing? Where, like, would you see my company in a couple years? I think if you get an outside perspective of someone who's not attached to your business, whether it's a mentor or a peer in the community, someone, it's actually going to be better for you. You just need to be open to the feedback.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Going with an open mind.
I
And
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You
getting
know,
an
it's
outsider's perspective.
it's
'Cause
funny.
The worst that happens is you just don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I've done. Every time I think about it and I'm like, should we rebrand? And then I'll ask people outside and they're like, you know what? Like, what do you think is wrong with Cutmaster music? That's unique. And then I get brought back to that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what? You're right. We are the only Cutmaster music. Like, you
Yep.
know, I just always felt like, we just do more than just music and, the
Yeah.
experience and all that stuff. But I think at the end of the day, so I did last year, actually, we shifted up the logo, not with the actual logo and art, but it's with the lettering and the
Your
text.
letterhead and
Yeah, so we made the Cutmaster a little bit larger
Yeah.
and put the emphasis on Cutmaster, right? Because I feel like most people they say that anyway.
They
Like,
say
who
it
do you book?
anyway.
Book Cutmaster,
For
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I put the music kind of like a little bit de-emphasized underneath it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we also need to be reminded of what we're good at, which is where an outside perspective also helps
Right.
because we do kind of get self-confident in our own business and we think like, oh, I think I'm like the best at this, but I'm not really sure. Maybe I just keep what I'm doing. But if you're getting a perspective from someone else, you're not necessarily, I would say, fishing for compliments, but you are asking like, what could I be doing better or what am I doing really well that makes me stand out? I think that's something else, really good feedback for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Definitely.
I love it. All right. Is there anything else here before we wrap this up, Taylor, that you want to talk about or want people out there that are listening to know?
No, I would say rebrands are really common when you get to like the 3 to 5 year mark is what I've heard. Just from a lot of research, it's where a lot of businesses get complacent and they feel like they're in a lull. So even if your business is like 7 years down the road and you're like, I don't know where I'm going, maybe that's the point where you want to do it. And I would say don't be scared of it. I think there's so much that goes into a rebrand. So obviously we talked about a lot of things that go into it, but you shouldn't be terrified of it because it actually could open more doors than you know.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I haven't done the rebrand thing myself, but I have started other brands, right? So I've taken a lot of things that I've learned from the Cutmaster brand into consideration, like with our Remix ABQ brand, when I had started ABQ Party Picks, the photo booth side of things, I feel like whatever it is that you do, number one, should be well thought out, so which you have
Yeah.
definitely talked about today and have done. Realize the expense that it could take depending on what you're doing, but also you've got to dive in with everything. You've got to really believe it,
Yep.
right? And I feel like you've really done that. Like you've taken the time to think out everything all the way down to the smallest details. So that way, when you made the launch, right, you can fully immerse yourself and this is what we are. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the last thing you want is to
Yeah.
rebrand and have regret.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I do not regret it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys working with us know we're very analytical. We like to think things through, our different scenarios that can occur. And
Yeah.
I am very intentional. That's another core value of ours is intention. We're intentional with our time, our money, our management, our clients. And I wanted to be intentional with the rebrand in many, many ways. So that's why it took a while, but it was 10 times worth it.
This is awesome. So how can people find you?
Yeah, so obviously laceandbowbridal.com, but we also have verdeuxco.com.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that and Instagram, Verdeux Co. Instagram handle.
And spell that out for us one more time.
VERDEAUXANDCO.
Verdeux Co.
Love it.
Cheers to 2026 for Verdeux
Yes.
Co.
Exciting.
Co.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you again for coming on the pod and starting off 2026. Like I feel good about this year.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pumped.
Last year
I'm
we
gonna
had-
go rebrand.
Like,
Just kidding.
Right.
Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, last year we didn't have very many guests on.
No,
We just
yeah.
got really busy with things last year, and not as many podcast episodes. but
Yes.
we've made a commitment this year, and actually, our first 2 pods this year are going to have guests. So
Yes,
we do have
yeah.
Shelby coming on next
Oh,
week. Speaking
yeah.
of, a
Yeah.
couple of planners for you all.
Yeah.
But this was awesome.
This
So
was
The
awesome.
year of momentum. I'm excited.
the
Yes.
year of momentum.
Definitely.
Go check out Verdeux Co.
Yep.
And Cutmaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go check it
there
out.
we
You
go.
guys need a DJ.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cheers to 2026. We'll see you
Yes.
guys. Thanks.
Peace.
Later.
Welcome